Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video. We're bringing you this video straight from the CES 2017 Thermaltake booth. Now we have some exclusive gear to sort of give you a run through, give you a quick check out that Thermaltake will be announcing soon. Well, they've announced it, but they will be releasing it soon. Some of the really interesting things I'm looking at is a premium PCI extender riser cable. Now these come in three sizes. We're looking at the short 30 centimeter, we have a 60 centimeter, and we have a humongous 1 meter extender cable. Now this thing is an absolute monster. Now some improvements on these are a premium grade cable. Thermaltake have done testing and there's literally zero latency loss. These will run 100% perfect. If you're familiar with other sort of cables, ones that come with the P3 or you can purchase with the P3. The reason why Thermaltake has included those in their cases is that they are a low cost cable. Now people doing extreme benching, high-end gaming, there are some FPS drops. Even when you flex the cable a few times, you will sort of degrade the performance, but Thermaltake has released these. Now bear in mind, Thermaltake probably won't be bundling these with their cases, only because the cost of these will affect the price of the case. Like in Australia, a P3 is like $100, $120, $130. By adding these cables in, it's just gonna increase the price too much. So these will be an extra add-on price you can purchase separately from Thermaltake. Now pricing on these, I'm not quite sure. They don't have a set point, but it's gonna be somewhere around 60 or 70 for the smallest and work their way up from there. So it's just really up to you whether you want to pay the extra for the premium cable. I know people who have run the P3 with the standard Thermaltake PCI riser cables and they haven't had any issues at all. So it's really up to you if you want to get the premium performance out of your video card. Now some of the other things I like about these have a full sort of cover over the sort of the contacts. If you're familiar with these cables, they have sort of the bare contacts that join it onto the little PCB here. So that's all nicely covered. They got the Thermaltake logo. So when this is sitting in your P5 or your system, it's going to sort of look like this. Very, very nice there. And the cable is much more flexible. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separated sort of cables or cores, and you can twist it really easily. And what I like with the 1 meter cable, they've got sort of these combs, these hard combs on the cable, and it just keeps it in sort of one piece, because if you didn't have these combs, the whole cable would be flexing and going crazy. So very, very nice there. And Thermaltake will be releasing all their data testing they have on these cables, so I think it'll be available on their website very soon, so you can check out that. So yeah, stay tuned for those. Another thing I want to check out is their new W-4 Igb CPU Waterblock. So this is the unit here, very similar to their LED strips if you've used those in the way of controlling them. So it uses their little controller box. You can go through the different modes, the different colors. Now bear in mind, this is a single color RGB, so it's got to be one whole color each time. Now I do believe there may be a W5 coming out that will have independent LEDs in them, so that'll be very, very familiar like their new Ring Plus fans. If you've seen our previous video, the Ring Plus has 12 individual LEDs and you can control each single one. So this one is just single, but there may be a W5 in the works where you can control each one, which will give you a more of a pattern like on the box. You'll get a multi-cross LED fading effect, which looks really nice. Apart from this, the block looks very familiar with the similar ones, the W3 and so on. But yeah, really nice to see the RGB coming out from there. Now lastly, the last thing I want to cover is their brand new cables. These are called the TT Mod sleeve cables. Now these come in a variety of colors. What do we have here? We have black and red, black and green, black and blue, all blacks with like orange, purple, yellow, and black, white. And they even have this funky sort of multicolored rainbow one. Now all these cables come out as a straight cable. I know some of you might know that if you get proper or specific modding ones from companies, they will put a curve in it at your request. So say you have a specific curve you want to curve around, they can do that, but these come straight. The reason why they're doing straight is so they can get the best of both worlds, because when you want a custom sleeve from a company, you tell them which video card, which motherboard you have, so they can get the curve right. Now Thermaltake can't produce a straight one, a left curve, or a right curve, because there's so many different video cards out there that will curve differently depending on way the plug is. Same with the EPS. Some motherboards have it so the latch is at the top, some motherboards have it so the latch is at the bottom. For 24 pin, 99% of boards I've seen has the latch on the PCB edge of your motherboard. But I think with the curve it's probably best. You can curve these. We've got a few builds where they have curved these with cable combs, and it does actually look really, really nice. Now, when I'm speaking of cable combs, they do come with a heap of combs. So this is the kit here. In terms of combs, you get 4 24-pin combs, you get 12 8-pin combs, and you get 8 of the 6-pin combs. Now these are very, very nice. They're very, very flexible, kind of sort of like they're made out of a PETG. They're not really rubber, but they're really strong. Like I can just bend this, it's not snapping. Now I've had cable combs, special order ones from companies, and I've had them come on the cable where they have been delivered broken. Now these ones are very, very strong and very nice. They're actually nice and sort of stealthy. They don't separate the cable, they don't have gaps in them. They're really nice and you get them. Now speaking of the cable, this is 16 gauge, very nice cable. And now if you're familiar with the sleeving, it's a sort of a plastic type sleeving. It's not like the older style paracord. Now I really like this plastic one. For the folks in Australia, PC case gear, most of their cables on there are like the paracord. Very sort of flexy, the sort of the fabric material where you must use cable combs to get the right curve, whereas these ones are the plastic ones, they keep their shape. So once you curve it once, it normally holds its shape, so that's nice as well. Speaking of the packs, cable-wise on what you get with these, you get a 24 pin, that's expected. You get a 4+4 pin, so that's a breakable, 4+4 to make 8 for your EPS power for your motherboard. You get an 8-pin GPU and a 6-pin GPU. The only recommendation I would sort of make to Thermaltake, instead of giving you an 8 and a 6, give you 2 8-pins that are breakable to a 6. So if we've got for example your EPS here that's breakable into 2 4s, give us an 8-pin that has a 6 that's breakable. If you're not using the 2 and using a 6, this can just hide behind your case. And then if you're using an 8, you can use the 2. Only if you're running a video card that needs 2 8s, you're going to have to either buy another kit, but I'm sure you'll be able to just buy the extra cable. But if they have the kit to do 8, that'll just be a nice touch. Pricing on these, I'm not sure yet. There's nothing out on these. Pricing on the block isn't really sort of confirmed yet, and as I said before, pricing on the riser cables isn't confirmed, but don't expect these to be sort of a cheap $20, $30 case. These are premium cables. If you're familiar with the 3M ones, those ones are like $100 to get those cables. It's something you just can't cheap out on if you want these premium riser cables. It's just like buying a BMW. You can't really cheap out and just get, if you want quality, you have to pay for it. But anyway, I think that's it on this gear. We're doing another video soon covering the main mods for the Thermaltake booth, so make sure you check out that, which will be up soon. But thanks again for watching and stay tuned for next time.